Jeanette Ramos here, CEO and President of It Takes a Village Housing. It Takes a Village Housing is a nonprofit organization that houses women who have been affected by drug and alcohol use while having their children live in transitional housing. Services to include drug treatment, mentoring, counseling for the kids, parenting. We set them up with employment. We help them get everything that they need to get them out into the community. Go to our website, ittakesavillage1.org, and donate. Donate whatever your heart desires, and let's change families one at a time.
We're going to keep doing stuff like this all winter. Christmas is coming, Thanksgiving is coming, everything.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV with your boy, your man, your host, Dano, in the building with you guys for today. If you're watching live or if you're watching on the replay, thank you so much for being here today. We have so many great things to talk about today. We're going to be talking about responding versus reacting and how everything goes with that. There's so much to talk about with that. I mean, just the fact that what is responding, what is reacting, and what do we do during those situations that we know, hey, listen, this is going to be something that, like I said, if it's a tough situation, how do we respond or how do we react? What does that even mean? So we're going to save that. We're going to table that for now, because first, you already know what we got to do. We got to do the affirmations for happiness to make sure that everything is going right. Just to give ourselves that positive affirmation and to give ourselves that positive boost. So as we all know, if we give ourselves these positive words in our conscious mind, then it'll hit our subconscious mind, and then it will play out into our physical reality, which is something that we all need to understand is the importance of this subconscious mind. We also need to understand that everything that happens to us during this lifetime is because we, it just so happened to be that. Well, everything that happened to us during this lifetime is because we manifested it. And anything that we think about will play out into our reality. So let's talk about, we're going to do the affirmations for happiness really quick. I'm actually going to go to a quick commercial because I'm not sure what's going on right now. It just seems like it's a little funny right now. So just give me 1 second. We're going to go to a quick commercial already. See, you never know with technology week in and week out where you're going to get. So we're just going to play a quick commercial and see how everything goes. All right, cool. Like I said, something's just a little funny right now. I don't know what's going on, but this is what we're gonna do. We're still gonna go with the positive affirmation for today. Here it is. I'm exactly where I need to be. I never need to worry that I'm on the wrong path. If I needed to be somewhere else, I would be. I'm right on track. It makes me happy to know that I can never be out of alignment with my destiny because I'm always exactly where I need to be. And I think that's very powerful because, right now, for instance, I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm right here on Thursday with you guys. There's nowhere else that I would rather be. Like, I don't know what's going on right now. Something's just acting so funny and so fishy. Just I'm gonna take a quick commercial break again, because I really don't know what's going on. So I'm gonna just play one more commercial for you guys, and I'll be right back momentarily. All right. I know exactly what it was, what was going on. All right, now I can relax. Now I can be normal. Now I can be the high energy that you guys are here for. Geez, there was something that was going on in the background, but with all the technical stuff that goes into this. And like I said, every week you learn something new, whether it's about yourself or the camera equipment that you got going on. You know what it is? I know exactly what it is. The reason that it's acting up is because I didn't shave and I didn't get my haircut for today, man. I always look, I'm always on point for you guys, but right, the one day that I don't do it, of course, all the technical difficulties go on. But you know what? We're still gonna fight through that, and that should be a lesson for everybody as well. Even for me too. No matter what happens, whether you think somebody thinks is watching or not watching, all of that stuff doesn't matter as long as you're doing your best, as long as you're going about, your day, knowing that you're giving it your all positive energy. Only great things can come about from it. That's what I'm saying. Look, now the comments are flowing in. See, I was wondering what was going on. Like I said, next time I got the answer. No facial hair. Boom. It'll all be solved. So, like I said, now we can start back over from the beginning. So, like I said, what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about, reacting versus responding. What does that even mean? Like, what is, let me know in the comments what you guys think that means. What does it mean to respond and what does it mean to react? Because they're two totally, it can be similar, yes, because they both start with R. Yes, I get it. And RE is not responding and reacting, but it goes deeper than those letters, man. It's about, I told you what happened. It's because I got the facial hair today and I didn't get my hair cut. So that's why that's why it's acting all up right now. But we're still gonna push through it no matter what. So, like I said, responding and reacting are really some of the key things that shape our life. Think about all of the events that happen, good or bad, positive or negative. All of these things do need to happen to you, in order for you to elevate to that next level. Now, I'm going to get into why we chose this topic for today, but you already know. If you weren't, like I said, it wasn't even working earlier. So we're going to do the positive affirmations for today. You know what? Let's open up to a random page and see what it is. All right. Here it is. Number 52. Inspiration for bliss is all around me. I'm going to say it again. Number 52. Inspiration for bliss is all around me. And that is just really up to your perspective on everything. I mean, I really like that one because there's beauty in everything. I mean, what was the last time? I can't even tell you when the last time I really sat down to smell a flower, like, observe some details that's going on in our everyday life, or just watch people go through the park. It's been a while because, everything's been so busy and so hectic with everything. But take the time to find the inspiration. I mean, inspiration is literally everywhere. It can be music. It could be a song that you've never heard, or maybe you're revisiting from so long ago, but you haven't heard it in a long time. That can be inspiration. So look for music. Look for art. Search if you got a favorite painting that you see, do a little bit of research on the person who created it, what the piece is about. Boom, that's another piece of information. Surround yourself information. That's another piece of inspiration. Surround yourself with people that are going to be there for your best interest. That's another form of inspiration, because not every day, as we all know, is rainbows and butterflies and sunshine and, all full of positive, things that are happening. So it's very important for inspiration to keep people around us that can see through the smoke and mirrors, and you never know what they can tell you. They can tell you something that you've been needing to hear to go to that next, to take it to that next level. But like I said, it can be in everywhere. Music, people, it could be a freaking car license plate. I mean, anything. So it's up to you to find where that bliss is and that inspiration is. So let me know some of the things that have happened to you in order to see where your bliss comes from. Some people might find bliss in, I find mine in meditation. Some people find it in a cup of coffee. Like I said, let me know what you guys are rocking over there. And you guys are even doing it before I even told you to do it. The hashtag Positivity Posse. Drop it if you're watching it live or want to replay. So I know that you're pouring into this great pot, beautiful, big, energetic field that you're throwing into it so that you can receive the blessings as well. Because as we all know, when we raise our vibration, good things will start to happen in accordance to our vibration. So thank you so much, Mr. CEO, owner, Reggie, my guy, for dropping the hashtag Positivity Posse. Here we go. Nancy, thank you so much for dropping it down in there. Lou, my guy, Lou, hashtag Positivity Posse. And right here, thank you, Jeanette, as well, for dropping that, because we all know these are some trying times in the world. So it's all about us sticking together and really changing the mindset. And, that could be something else too. Like I just said it, and it's so easy to get tripped over our words to say, oh, well, these are trying times. Are they? Or are they amazing times? Are they times where they get to show you more about yourself, to challenge you to see what you're made of? So it's all about perspective, man. All about perspective. I even have to catch myself sometimes. So here we go. I find bliss in coffee and the sun hitting my skin amazing 100%. I agree. That's why I really love the beach. Just to get my tan on, you already know. And to beat Lou at wiffle ball on the beach. That's why I really love the beach too. No, I'm just messing with you. Yes, these are amazing times. I agree 100%. So, like I said, I wanted to talk about why this was going to be the topic of conversation for today, but I got to talk about one more thing before we do that. And if you guys notice, we're doing something new. We're doing the flow code right here on the screen. So if you're watching on your TV, please take your phone, scan this code. This code is absolutely important, and I'll tell you why. So with this code, it's going to take you to the live pay-per-view wrestling show. EWA, Epic Wrestling Association, is having an event in collaboration with Toys for Tots to help these kids and the families that need it the most this holiday season, to give them some extra inspiration. See, there you go. We found some extra inspiration for you too, just in case you needed it. With the show, to give these families, like I said, all of the help and assistance that they may need, and to help a child or whoever it may be that might need it, to give them a smile on Christmas morning. So if you scan this will be the pay-per-view portion. If you can't make it in person, the show is going to be at HB Wilson this Saturday, December 10th. Doors open at 1 o'clock. Like I said, if you can't make it, you can watch the pay-per-view version, and it'll be like having a ringside seat in the comfort of your own home. And like I said, the money will be used to help the Toys for Tots Foundation. And although this is a very, very special cause too, and you're also going to be seeing a concert that's going to be going on in kind of like the intermission, or it's not really intermission because that's a part of the experience too. And some of the amazing wrestling talent that we have going on there. We have professionals that are going to be there too. So like I said, scan it. buy it, do whatever you got to do, because this is helping the kids and the families of Camden, New Jersey. So I just wanted to drop that in there. And if you can't, if you're watching on your phone, if you're on Facebook, I dropped the links into the Facebook there as well. I pinned it so you guys can touch it and help us out and help out the Epic Wrestling Association, because they're doing fantastic, amazing, wonderful, wonderful things. So now we're going to start to get into the meat and the potatoes of what's going on for today and why I chose this topic versus reacting versus responding. So when I was in LA, I'm not going to mention any names, but there was a time where I was chilling in the hot tub and there was a guy that I know that it was me and Aaron, and we were talking. And we were talking about business because the day just got done. We were wrapping up the time and just, debriefing on what happened for the day, any new strategies that we needed to take throughout the weekend to improve on anything. And we were just talking, having a beer, having a great time. So there was a gentleman that joined into our conversation, and the conversation that we weren't having was all that positive. And you guys know me, if it's not, enlightening, uplifting, helping others see a different way of life, I don't really want to take part in it. And, this conversation and the scenario was a little bit uncomfortable for me because, number one, I didn't like the things that we were talking about. They were pretty vulgar. And then number two, I was in a situation where I had to respond. I notice how I didn't say react. I had to respond in a positive way because things could have went south very, very quickly. And when I was sharing this story with somebody that I'm very close with, he told me, he said, yo, you got to make sure. He says, thank God it was you, because if it were me, that guy would have gotten beat up, because that's not how you're supposed to talk to people. And it's just so interesting how everybody has a different perspective on different things. And it's like, I could have chosen that route and, beat up on the guy, whatever the case may have been. But that's not what we talk about here on the Positivity with the Positivity Posse on the Weekly Dose of Dano show. So I think this is very important, because I can only imagine how many other people have been in some situations or scenarios where they're trying so hard to do the right thing, but other people are provoking them or trying to bring them down or whatever it may be. So I wanted to come on here to share why it's very important to respond versus react. So when it comes to responding to certain things, right? When you respond, the best way that I can describe it is like playing chess, right? When your opponent makes a move, you have to sit there and calculate the next move on what's going on, because if you just to react to him moving the piece and you just move your piece because he moved his piece or they moved their piece, that's not really strategizing, and that can get you down a bad hole real quick. I mean, if we're still talking about the chess game, metaphorically speaking, you can lose the game, and whatever situation or scenario that you're going through, you can lose that as well, and things may turn out the way that you want. But when you react or when you respond, you're sitting there, you're taking the time to really calculate what your next move is going to be and what you're going to say. And I think that's very important, because especially nowadays, it's so easy to react to people, trying to take you out of your character. I think a lot of people nowadays love to get a reaction out of certain people, which is kind of weird. But I could understand why. It's because if they're not feeling that great, they want other people to not feel that great as well. And if they can poke the bear a few times and, wake the bear, it's kind of like, SpongeBob when they're messing with Sandy, they had to react to her getting all mean and nasty and ripping their heads off and stuff. But, if they were to respond and, find a better way to do it, I understand it's a show, but we're talking about the principle here. If they would have responded to the way that she was acting, it could have turned out a lot better in the end as well. So, like I said, it happened to me. So I wanted to hear some of the things that you guys do in order to make sure that you're responding in the positive light, and to make sure that everything is going, smoother and, smoother than taking the bad route. So like I said, I have about 10 tips right here. Oh, sorry, I have 7. Lucky number 7. 7 different ideas and strategies that I actually use on a day-to-day basis to make sure that, we're taking the right routes, that we're not doing anything that we're not supposed to be doing. And like I said, if you're watching live or if you're watching on the replay, please drop your strategies, because I think we all can use them right now. And think about it. If you have somebody, if you share your strategy, then the next person can apply that strategy, and then we just have that, effect, the ripple effect, and it'll really start to make the world a better place, whether you believe it or not. I know you might be thinking, oh, well, he's just saying that because he's, I've gotten called the captain of the positivity. No, it really is the truth. And, pay it forward. I think that's what a lot of people are willing to do nowadays. So if you lead by example, then we can start to see a difference in this world. So how to respond positively. We're going to be talking about that and the 7 tips and ideas that I got for you guys that they're true. I tried them. I practice these on a day-to-day basis, or whenever the situation arises, because it's not every day, thankfully, that I'm not going through anything, super serious. But let's talk about it. Also, if you don't have a water jug, please invest in one of these. I was having a conversation earlier with somebody in the gym. You can put some ice in here. I promise you, you'll have the ice in your container for about 2 or 3 days, and it just makes you want to drink more water too. If you're having, to carry it constantly all the time, that's extra weight on your hands. In order to take out the weight, you got to drink the water, or you could cheat and just dump the water out. But that's not what we're all about. Like I said, invest into a water bottle, and the big ones too, because you just don't want to drink a bottle a day. I mean, yes, that's a good start, but we want to drink a little bit more than that and flush out our insides. And as we all know, if we take care of our body, then our mind has no choice but to follow, and vice versa. If we're taking care of our mind, our body has no choice but to follow in that same suit as well. So let's talk about it. 7 ways on how to respond, not react positively. So number 1, when I go about my life and something happens that I can see or not see coming, the number 1 thing that I like to think about is everything that people do and everything that people say is a reflection of themselves. And I really like this piece, and I put this one as number 1 because I think when we go about our day-to-day lives, we can tend to think that maybe we're the victim, or, oh, why is this happening to me? And what does this person have against me? And, all the things that come with that line of thinking. But when we understand that everything that people say and everything that people do is a reflection of themselves, it's really kind of like holding a mirror to whatever energy they might be projecting at you. So if you're meeting somebody throughout the day and they're responding with you with negative energy, once you hold that shield to them, or once you hold that mirror, all you're doing is reflecting that energy right back to them. So you're meeting them at the same, well, you're not really meeting them at the same because you're not, engaging in it, but you're setting up a barrier for yourself that nothing can come through to you, whether it's mental, physical, or spiritual. You're setting up that barrier, so it blocks that, right? And when you understand that everything that people say and do is a reflection of themselves, you understand that it has nothing to do with you. Just because the person, they might be having a bad day, and you kind of shift your perspective because you think, okay, well, I haven't even said 2 words to the guy. So if I know that the person is just having a bad day, or they're just a bad person, that has nothing to do with you. And you can respond and take that according to, to however you want to take it. But that you're not going to get sucked into whatever energy pool or trying to pull you down. You're not going to get sucked into that. All right. So that was the first one. And like I said, I really like that one a lot because it's just so true. I mean, the amount of weight that holds, that if you didn't think about it that way before, I'm very happy to share that with you. I believe I read that in the book, The 4 Agreements. And if you haven't read that book as well, you got to read it tonight. Tonight. You can listen to the free version on YouTube if you just type in audiobook for The 4 Agreements. Absolutely amazing book. Has changed my life. So, like I said, awesome stuff. So moving forward, number 2 on how to respond positively to something that you may see or may not see coming is that we have to understand that everything happens for a reason, right? We may not understand what that reason is at the moment, but we have to understand and have to know and have faith that everything that is happening to us is for a positive reason, right? And I know a lot of people use the phrase that when, God closes one door, 10 others open up. And it's a great phrase, but it definitely reflects that everything happens for a reason, because you never know what might be going on if you were to take, let's say, a certain job position, or to go out with somebody that you don't want to go out with, or whatever the case may be, understand that blocks in your life are meant to guide you in the direction that you need to go. Just because it doesn't work out at that time doesn't mean that it's the end either, or it doesn't mean that you're a failure or that you did something wrong. It needed to be that way so it can bring you to the thing that needs to come into your life. Like I said, I know it didn't necessarily happen to me, but actually it did happen to me before, where I didn't get a certain job because the job that I needed to get was the one that I needed to have. And if I would have taken that first job, I don't even think I would be here where I'm at right now with you guys. And the whole course and the trajectory of my life would have changed. So understand that everything happens for a reason. And I'm talking about the great things to the worst things, and all of that stuff is guiding you on your path to live that life of fulfillment, to live the life and receive the blessings that you need to receive. So understand, like I said, number 2, everything happens for a reason, and the reason that it's happening is for a positive reason as well. And you could even make the case, oh, well, how could somebody, let's just say somebody passes in your family. How could that happen for a reason? Well, number 1, you're probably letting your emotional, trauma take control of that conversation or at the hold of the time. And I'm not saying that it's easy to deal with these things. Of course not. But understand that the thing needed to happen the way that it needed to happen, whether you understand it or not. It's all playing out in your benefit. And it's important that you tell yourself that line of thinking and that phrasing, because you will start to see the universe will shift the things in your favor, because you're saying, hey, I'm going to make this my intention to make sure that everything that happens in my life, most things, because we can't control everything, but everything that's going to happen is for my benefit as well. So like I said, that's number 2. So number 1, everything that people say and everything that people do is a reflection of themselves. Number 2, we have to understand that everything is happening for a positive reason, even if we may not understand it at the moment. What's going on, Lauren? It's so wonderful to see you here. Thank you for leaving this comment. I have to give you a call about some great things that's going on. I'm so thankful to have you in my life and thankful that you're here as well. Thank you for everything that you have done for me and, all the things that I haven't seen. But if you're watching this, make sure you go check out Bathrobe Moments every morning. All fire content. Really, go check it out on the E360 television network. And we are actually on the same sub network. We are with Trajectory TV, and that is just full of people and full of shows that have content with direction and purpose. So if you're interested in that, reach out to us and look out for Bathrobe Moments and Weekly Dose of Dano, because you already know where we're coming. You already know how we're doing it for today and every day that we live on this earth. So number 3, this is going to be the last one, and we're actually going to take a quick commercial break. I know we took a few earlier, but it's just some things that you can't plan for and you can't account for. And, I could have chosen that route to say, hey, well, I'm not doing the show now because we had some technical difficulties in the first 10 minutes and blah, 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 blah. But telling you guys, everything happens for a reason. There's even a reason that happened earlier. And that I might not know the reason why it might happen now, but I guarantee you I'll find out eventually. And it doesn't have to be tomorrow. It doesn't have to be next week. And I'm still okay with that. So number 3, in order to respond positively, we need to be responsible and accountable to know that everything that happened to us in our life, we created ourselves. And this is a mind-blowing thing. And not a lot of people, you might have a hard time accepting it, or you might say, Dano, you're freaking crazy. What are you even talking about? Why would I want something to happen to me that may not be in my best interest? And, you can think of countless examples for that. Oh, why would I attract into my life that I get, a flat tire? Or why would I attract into my life that, insert whatever negative thing happens here? I'm telling you guys, I've experienced it before. It's a thing. Everything that happens to us, and it doesn't have to be negative either. It can be, positive or negative. All of these things that are happening to you, we did it to ourselves. And that's why we need to be accountable and responsible for working on our inner, mind and our inner world, because everything that happens in our inner world will reflect into our outer world. So if we have to take responsibility of that, because number 1, nobody's going to do that for you. Nobody's going to say, hey, well, I'm going to completely change your mind and I'm completely going to revitalize everything that you experienced in your life. Nobody's going to come up to you and say that. Shoot, nobody's going to even come up to your front door and say, hey, you want $100? I mean, it could happen, but that's not very likely. So it's really up to us to take responsibility for everything that we do into our lives. I mean, take responsibility for the conversations that we have with people, to take responsibility to say, hey, well, I didn't do this. I wasn't impeccable with my word, or there's another 4 agreements thing, or, I didn't do my best. So it's really ultimately important to know that we have to be responsible for our actions and understand that we have to be accountable to say, okay, we created this, we did this to ourselves. And how does that help to respond positively? You might be asking. Well, let me answer that question for you. When you take the responsibility to work on our inner work, we are responding to all of the negative events that happened to our past, to our past. And it may be something that happened yesterday, or maybe happened that something, 2 weeks ago or a month ago. Well, we are responding to understand that these are the things that we don't want to happen in our life. So when we understand and we take responsibility that everything going forward is going to work out in our favor, and that we're making the intention to work on ourselves, I promise you that it is going to be great. So we have a question here from Reggie. Isn't that reacting? I'm going to tell you that no, this is not reacting. And I'll explain how this is not reacting. Because when we take the responsibility and the accountability to know that everything that happened for us, we created ourselves, we're taking the initiative to make sure that it doesn't happen going for future events, right? So you can claim that reaction, right, is an action for an action. So if somebody pushes, then you get a shove. If you do this, then you react by doing that. So you're trading an action for an action. But when you respond to things that happened, back then, or whatever the case may be, it could be an hour ago. It's not really happening back then. Or all right, I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. Stay with me. I promise you, it's gonna make sense. So understand that the future and the past are not really a thing. We're living in the now, right? So the moment that we're sharing right now is in the now. So it's not before, it's not future, it's not present, it's not past, right? It's in the now. So if we understand that everything that's happening in the now, we can take that and respond going forward. All right, let me stay with me here. I promise you, it's going to make sense. So it's not reacting because we're setting the intention now and we're getting out ahead of it before we have to respond to it. It's kind of like being proactive versus reactive. When we're proactive, we're setting the intention. Everything's going to be great. Everything's going to work out in our favor, and it always does. But if you were to wait for the bad thing to happen to you, whether it's somebody saying something to you or whether it's, a bad experience, and then we change it, that's not getting out ahead of it. We're reacting to the bad thing that went on. Let me know if that makes sense, because I can explain it. And I think that was a pretty good explanation, but if you're still confused, let me know. Just let me know, because I know all of this stuff can be a little deep, and some people are ready for the conversation and some people aren't. But if I answer your question, let me know. We're going to take a quick commercial break because I've been talking a lot and I need to take a sip of water, but I just don't want you guys to see me here and watch me drink water. I mean, if you want that, that's going to cost you a pretty penny. No, I'm just kidding. So we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. And here's a word from our sponsor. So everybody, that was just a quick commercial break. Thank you. And make sure that you're please sharing this great content with a friend or two, just so we can all raise the vibration one person at a time. and to just throw into the positive energy that's going on, because I promise you and I guarantee you that once we raise our vibrations, everything will start to work out, and we'll see this energy transpire and opportunities and people that we meet. It's all going to work out for us too. So like I said, raise that vibration, whatever you got to do. Share, like, hey, go have a cup of coffee, go have some candy, whatever you need to do. Go do it, please. So we're going to move on to number 4, how to respond positively to anything that life throws at us. So number 4, think about our consequences to our actions. And I know that in the moment in time, that whatever we're going through, usually when it's negative, we don't really think. We get clouded, our emotions cloud our judgment, and usually the thing that we're so upset about in that moment usually won't mean anything 10 minutes down the line. You'll probably end up forgetting about it if you don't let it go. But if you're still going to hold on to it, then of course you're not going to forget about it. But like I said, when we think about the consequences to our actions, that is a really, really great way to make sure we don't do the things that we know we shouldn't do. For example, I'm going to take the example with the pool, right? Of the guy that was talking vulgar and I wasn't really appreciating it. So I had to sit there and reflect, because I could have done the route that I was talking to my friend about. And if I would have chose his route to, beat the guy up or just make sure that, he's not disrespecting me, then it wouldn't have ended well. A lot of bad things would have happened. I could have possibly gotten arrested, or, it's all going down that rabbit hole, which you're not going to do. But when you think about, okay, if I do A, then B is going to happen. Then B is going to lead to C, C to D. You have to see and you have to know that our reactions and our consequences to our actions are going to be something that we don't want to happen to us, and that's why it's important to respond versus react, because the consequences, a lot of people don't think about that. They just think about the 5 seconds that somebody cut them off, and then you see it time and time again on the news. It's so terrible. What happens in this world is that, let's say they'll get into some traffic and some road rage, and people end up losing their lives over something that's so minuscule, and something that if you just drive a little bit further down the road, they go their way, you go your way, and life goes on. But they get so enwrapped and enveloped in those 5 seconds, or it can be 10 minutes, whatever it may be. Understand that that's not the end of whatever it is that you have to accomplish. You have to think about all the things, and it's not always consequences. You got to think about the things that you're living for and why you're doing the things that you're doing every day. I mean, think about it. Let's say if you get arrested or you get killed, you're not fulfilling the promise that you made when you came to this earth, or everything that you've done and that you planned for is all going to go to waste because you let somebody get you out of your character, or you let this event or that event take really control of the situation because you weren't thinking about your consequences. So like I said, in order to respond positively to certain situations, please be mindful of how our consequences will play a life into our factor. And here it is. Look, mine's just Krispy Kreme donuts, 100%. You can use this as a great example, actually, because if you have Krispy Kreme donuts all day, every day, and you don't think about the consequences, if you don't think about the consequences, you're just going to keep on eating those same donuts. And then what's going to happen when you eat donuts? You gain weight, clog your arteries, you have diabetes, all of these things that you don't want to happen to your life. So that's why it's really important. And think about that too. The reason that you don't eat Krispy Kreme every day, this has me rolling right here. This is so funny. Sorry, that was a good one. You caught me off guard. But think about it. The reason that you don't eat Krispy Kreme every day is because you think about the end goal and you think about the results, and what's going to happen in the end. So like I said, you thought about the consequences to your actions, and that's why you don't do it every day. So no, not every day, every other day. Well, even then, if you do it every other day, you're probably still going to get the same results. It might not be something that, it might take a little bit longer, but you're still going to get those same negative results because you aren't thinking about the donuts, as he says. Mine is Pepsi. And you know what? Everybody has a vice. Don't beat yourself up over it. As long as you're taking the steps to make sure that you're limiting it every time and that you're not going overboard, then it's still okay. All right, no must have Krispy Kreme. All right, when you start gaining weight, man, don't be looking at me because I told you right here. Look, how to respond positively, written down right here. You can choose to take it to. You can choose to take the advice, or it's up to you. Everybody has their free will, what they want to do. Uh, Pepsi is liquid crack. Yes, it is so addictive. I actually know a good friend of mine that has to drink Diet Pepsi, no Diet Coke actually, every freaking day, and I don't know how he does it, but if he can go back and change it, because I remember he said he's done it ever since he was a little kid. But if you were to go back in time and change it and think about the consequences, I guarantee you he wouldn't even touch that Pepsi or Coke, Diet Coke. And today it's all the same thing. Diet soda, he wouldn't have even touched it. Fuller, go easy on the Pepsi. You're chock full of them today. You're trying to throw me off. Here it is. My God, Mike, thank you so much for being here, man. I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope everything is going well with you. If you guys can, share some love with Mike. Throw some hearts on the screen for him. He is the man. And just to come on here and to share his experiences and his positive energy. Thank you so much for doing that, Mike. Yeah, he loves his diet Pepsi. Or is it Diet Pepsi? Oh, no, just regular Pepsi. So I got you confused with the other guy. But anyway, like I said, always think about the consequences to our actions as well, because, like I said, it'll stop us from doing a lot of negative things into our life. So here we go. Going forward. I'm already in, big dog. Yeah, you're big dog, my guy. You're the boss. Woo, woo, woo. I need a dog emoji. Come on, play into it, please. But you know what? You're so full of positive energy. You're so full of that love, and you're always giving. That's what a fool with, man. Come on now, don't get it twisted. So let's move on to number 5, because we only have 2 more to talk about, and then I'm going to be talking with you guys, just breaking it down. What's going to be going on for the Weekly Dose of Dano platform, and like I said, I got to get through this, and then we can talk about all that stuff. I'm going to say it again. Don't forget, if you're watching this on your TV, or if you need me to send the code to you, scan this code right here to support Epic Wrestling Association. Here it is, and Toys for Tots. I'm just moving this up so you guys can see the text. Like I said, wrestling show and concert for the kids, for the families, for Toys for Tots, putting a smile on kids' faces, putting a smile on families' faces. What is better than that? Scan it if you can't make it in person. December 10th. Doors open at 1. I will be there. I'm going to be your play-by-play ring announcer. So if you want to see me and to be around a positive environment of people all having fun, please. And even if you can't make it, that's why we have this here for you. Scan the flow code, and we also have it right here pinned into the comments for you guys. There it is. There's a link if you want to purchase it to help out these families during this holiday season. Boom. Perfect. So here we go. Number 5. Number 5, don't take small things so seriously. Please learn to let them go. And it goes back to what I was saying. Have you guys ever had that experience where you'll be going about your day and you'll just be so freaking mad, or there's something that's like looming over your head and you don't even know what it is, but you just know that you're pissed off for no reason? That's why we need to let certain things go. Because you know that if we were to just live every day like that, and then that gets stored into our bodies and that gets stored into our subconscious mind, and then all of that negative energy and that negative reaction plays out into our regular world, man. Please let it go. Not everything needs a reaction, whatever it may be. Somebody bumps into you on the street. You never know what that other person might be capable of. Yes, you might know, you might have a black belt, or you might be strapped, but you never know what that other person might be going through. You never know what they have. So it's always best to play it on the defensive. Now, if somebody's coming up to you and, they swing on you, all right, at that point you have to react because, your safety's at risk and all of that great stuff. But like I said, don't take small things so serious. Somebody like lightly brushes into you, that you don't need to fight the person. You don't need to go on a tangent and say, "Oh, I'll do X, Y, Z to you." Let it go. It really isn't that important anyway, because all you're doing is you're just bringing yourself down when you do that. And there could be so many different things too. Like, let's say if somebody's in the parking lot and they take up 2 parking spaces, right? Of course, that's gonna get you a little angry, or a little mad, or a little pissed off. But just let it go, man. If that person wants to park like that, then let them do what they need to do. Sorry, I don't know what that was. It's like something attached to my pants right here. Like I said, let them go, man. Just don't sweat the small stuff. There's so many other things that you need to be worried. There's so many other things that you need to put your attention to. You see, I was going to say worried about, but when you say worried about, that's a negative connotation. So we're not going to say that. So there's so many other things that you can pay, your attention to and throw your energy towards to make sure that you're not getting pissed off and to make sure that we're responding positively in our lives. And if you could think of any other ideas or any practices that you do to make sure that you're responding positively, or any tips for anybody that may be watching, drop it in the comments, please, because there's so many ideas and situations that I probably glance over. But I kind of want to hear about it, because I know everybody has experienced this, where they get in the heat of the moment, and then they would say something or they do something that they didn't mean to do, and usually the consequence is so much more than what we anticipated. I know this happened to me literally 2 days ago. I was in a meeting, and in the meeting I started to just think negatively and thinking things that I shouldn't be thinking. And I was like, why am I even thinking like this? And luckily I had my guy over there to show me, hey, you're worried about the wrong things for no reason. Just let it go. And then after that, I was like, you know what? You're right. And interestingly enough, the same thing that happened to me was happening to my friend earlier. And the exact advice he gave to me, I was able to give to him. Yo, just let it go, man. And everything is going to work out for us too. So awesome. Awesome. Hit first, hit fast, hit hard. Is that from Cobra Kai? Sounds like it's from that. But anyway, hey, that's it. If it comes down to it and you have no other choice, of course, then you got to defend yourself. Like I said, that's a whole different ball game, and that's when it really starts to get serious. But you don't even have to get to that point. Honestly, you can choose to walk away, but if somebody's following you, there's so many different things that you can do, and that should always be in my opinion, that should be the last resort. That shouldn't be the first thing that you do, is to try to go out there and fight somebody, because usually nothing ever good happens from that. And let's see, nope style, big dog, martial arts. Oh, what's the Cobra Kai? I thought they said something like that too in the new one. I didn't see the whole season. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I saw the first few episodes, and I wasn't really a fan of it. I thought it was kind of cheesy, but like I said, don't take things so seriously, and learn to let it go. So number 6, moving on, because we only got 2 more to cover, and I want to talk to you guys about some upcoming things going on for the platform. So number 6, understand that we can't control everything, and since we can't control everything, that should give you some sort of sense of peace and comfort. And I'm going to bring it back to another experience that I had. There was one night where I was playing Xbox with my boys, and we were playing NHL, because we used to love to play NHL, and that game has just gotten so bad. But the game has been developed, and it's not a secret. It definitely happens. The game has been developed where no matter what you do, no matter how well you play, you can make all the right decisions. It's just out of your control. And as I was talking to my boy about that, let's see. Oh, here it is. So all right, let me stick to the story. As I was talking to my boy about it, he goes, man, I get so pissed off that I don't have any control on what the outcome's going to be. And I had to flip it. I said, doesn't that make you feel better, that knowing that no matter what you do, it's still going to be the same result? So you can fuss and fight about it, and it's still going to be the same result. Or you can be happy about it and just enjoy the game. And just the fact that you're enjoying the time with your people, you could say that, take it from the positive spin to understand that no matter what you do, it's all about, it's going to happen the way it's going to happen no matter what. And that's important to respond positively, because it's like, what's the famous saying, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade, right? So if they're giving you something and you can't really control it, right? If you got lemons, you got to make sure that, the heck is that? Sounds like they're going on something outside. But like I said, if we can't control it, that's a good thing that's going on out there. Because like I said, you got to understand and have faith that it's all working out in your favor. And if there's nothing that you can do, it's all how you respond to it, not about how you react to it. So like I said, that's very important as well. So number 7, we're finally on the last one. But before we get to number 7, look, I knew it wasn't crazy here. What did you say? Hit fast, hit first, hit fast, hit hard. Strike first, strike fast, strike hard. It's Cobra Kai. So it's kind of the same thing, strike and hit. You know what I mean? Unless you're talking about something crazy. See, I knew I wasn't crazy, man. I knew I wasn't crazy. So, like I said, I knew it was something similar to that. So 650. Like I said, we only got a few minutes remaining. So here is the last one. Number 7. In order to respond positively to whatever gets thrown our way in this world, ask yourself why this thing that's going on in your life is making you uncomfortable. If somebody says something about you and why is it making you uncomfortable? If somebody is trying to get you out of your character, ask yourself again, why is this making you uncomfortable? And I guarantee you the reason that this is making you uncomfortable is something that has happened in your past, right? So if somebody, is making fun of your weight, right? Usually it doesn't really feel good because we have control of that, and we know that we're not dedicating the time that we need to make sure that we're making that change in our life. And usually it goes back to whatever childhood traumas that we had or that we experienced before. And it doesn't have to be childhood, it can be teens, but just the way that we grew up. And it's important to ask yourself why this thing is making you uncomfortable so you can respond positively, because once you understand where the root of the problem is coming from, you can make peace with it, you can let it go, and you can just release it to make sure that this stuff is never going to bother you again. Because once we have this confidence in ourselves and we know why we were put on this earth, and we know that everything that we're doing is with good intentions and with positive energy and with the right attitude, there's nothing that can really stop us. And like I said, you can make the extreme example and the extreme case to say, hey, well, this person's getting too close to me. I'm not talking about the extreme cases because we all know how we need to handle those things. But I'm just saying to limit these things, that to de-escalate and not let it get to those big events and those very serious situations. So like I said, ask yourself why this thing is making you uncomfortable. And I guarantee you it's because of something that happened in the past and the way that we grew up. So once we heal from that, going forward, this thing is not going to bother us anymore because we've been there, we've done that, we know how people are, and we can just move forward and just let it go in our lives. So, like I said, those are some of the ways that we need to respond positively versus reacting positively, because when we respond, we have control of what happens. We have control of how we think about the situation, and we have control of anything that happens in our life. But when we react, we're reacting based off of somebody else's action, and then we can start to feel powerless when we react in that situation as well. Because you can make the claim that you say, hey, well, I've only done this because you did this. And that doesn't really help, or it's not very productive, because then it's just a blame game at that point and we can never move on. So, like I said, if you have any ideas on how we can respond positively in this world, please let me know, just so we can, so I can learn something new, so the person watching can learn something new, and that you can, and that you can just make sure that we're living the life that we need to live. I haven't been able to watch because I've been working on Thursdays. For some reason, I'm off this week. I needed to hear all this, going through something in my life. This made me think, and I'll rise above 1,000%. And Mike, think about all the things that you fought through, that you had to get to where you are today. So if anybody's watching this right now, please send Mike some positive energy, please, whether it's hearts, whether it's a words of encouragement. Mike, I'll be reaching out to you after the show. But whatever you're going through, man, you got my support. Whatever you might need from me, please shower Mike with some positive energy, because we all need it right now. Look at this. You will rise above. You will rise above 1,000%. So thank you guys so much for being here today. I really appreciate every single one of you guys for all of your kind words, for all your support, because I can feel the energy week in and week out, because we know that when you're a part of the Positivity Posse, nothing can stop us from achieving whatever it is we want into our life. Next week, we have on, I can't even pronounce her name, actually. Hold on. I want to find it because this is very important. We're going to be talking about our shadow work, all the positive things that are going on in our world. She has a very unique name, and I'm going to share it with you guys right now. In 3, I'm going on to her Instagram. How funny is that, right? Her name is Sharice. She's going to be coming on the show next week. Come on, because we will have some fun with that one. Just dive in, in our inner work and the energy and all the great things that we have going on. So come back next week. I hope you guys have a safe weekend. Like I said, here is the link. If you need to scan this or if the show is off, please let me know. I'll send you the code. I'll send you the link in order to support the Epic Wrestling Association and Torch for Tots and the cities and the city of Camden and the families and the kids that need it the most throughout this year. I hope you guys have a great, fantastic weekend. Please be safe. And I'll see you next week for another episode of Weekly Dose of Dano TV. Let's go.